everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and I am here to document my second year of rebuilding my postpartum physique. I just want to start off by saying two things. Number one, I am not taking this off at all during this vlog because it is minus 14. Yes, minus 14 outside. It is so cold you can just like feel it in your bones. Second of all, I have a very obvious head cold, so I'm really sorry. I'm probably gonna like cough and sneeze and snuff and make all kinds of noises. So if that is not your thing, I would suggest you skip this video. Anyway, it is the end of week 2 of my reverse diet. So for those of you who aren't like following my situation, I ended my diet at the end of last year eating what I believe was approximately 1,680 calories. I was on a 16-week diet. I say I believe it was that much because even though I have been tracking macros, my weight stabilized really quickly in this reverse diet after only adding in just a little, just a tiny bit of calories. And I think maybe I was actually under eating a little bit. So I think my deficit might have actually been a little bit bigger than I thought it was, but whatever. We're just gonna say I started this reverse diet eating 1,680 calories. Last week, all of last week, I bumped up to 1,700 calories. My weight stabilized. This week, I went up another 50 calories. So this week, I've been eating 1,750 calories a day. I weigh myself daily, but I missed 2 weigh-ins this week. And today is actually Saturday, so my week doesn't end until tomorrow. So I'm only basing this off of 4 data points, but I've averaged out my daily weigh-ins and I still come out to an average of 64.6 kilo, which means I have another week now of not gaining a single gram. I ended my diet at 64.6. I ended last week at 64.6 on average, and this week I am now on average 64.6. So that makes me feel good, but really it's kind of silly because I've only gone up 70 calories, so it's not that much. I want to talk about like a little bit of mayhem that happened this week, and then also some feelings that are cropping up. So really quickly, this week was a bit wild because I had a period of I think 4 days where I had such insatiable hunger that I would be on my second full portion, just like so hungry I needed to double the amount of food that I had allowed myself for any given meal. And even as I'm on my last bite, I'm thinking to myself, I am famished. I am so hungry. So I stuck with my diet on the first 2 days, which I believe was January 10th and 11th. But by the time the 3rd day came around and I was faced with this just horrific hunger again, I said, screw it. I'm gonna eat until I'm full. The only problem is I did stick with my diet until the end of the day. Even though I did intend on allowing myself to eat, I just said I'm gonna wait until the end of the day, and after dinner, if I'm just still feeling this, I will eat a whole nother meal. But we ordered pizza for the kids that night. It's Swedish pizza, okay? So it's like not much cheese, it's a very thin crust, there's salad on top, so it's like not American pizza, but it's still pizza. On the day that I said I'm gonna let myself eat more because I am now 3 days deep into feeling like I am starving, coming off the heels of a 4-month diet. It just was like a perfect storm. Anyway, let's just say that I blew my diet by hundreds of calories. I have no regrets. My body was screaming for that food and I felt satisfied for the first time in days. I needed that food. Do I wish I had binged on healthier food? Yes, but a binge is a binge. I just took it to the top. I was in it to win it, okay? So to stick to this topic, the next day, which was the 4th day of hunger, I woke up and I was feeling the same way, just famished. And I was thinking to myself, what is this? This is not normal. I do know from tracking my body, listening to my body, logging like my body's symptoms and things I feel, I do know that I tend to get very hungry around ovulation, but it usually only lasts like 2 days, sometimes 3, and it's not anywhere near like this level of hunger I was experiencing. I did ovulate sometime during this melee, so it could have just been that, but I referenced my good old diary where I log all kinds of like my body metrics and stuff every day. And I noted that the day my hunger started was the day I started taking ashwagandha. I Googled it, and increased appetite and like hunger feelings doesn't seem to be any kind of common side effect of taking ashwagandha root. If anything, they say it's supposed to help regulate your appetite, but stranger things have happened. I don't know. So I decided to not take the ashwagandha and just see if I didn't have hunger that day, and I didn't. I'm only taking a half dose of this root, but I don't know. Maybe I just respond strongly to it. But I've been taking it at night now, and I am not experiencing those crazy levels of hunger anymore. So either it was the ashwagandha or it was just a crazy ovulatory cycle. I don't know, but I'm feeling much more stable now. But with all of that said, I ate my brains out on the 3rd and 4th days of having these hunger issues. I did not track my calories for either of those days, but I know I went above and beyond by hundreds of calories. I know it, okay? I'm gonna get back to the cardio thing. There was like a thing that happened, but I'll get back to it. But I weighed myself the next morning after each of these eating days, and my weight hardly went up at all. Like it went up a couple 100 grams, and then it came right back down afterwards. So I don't know. I'm just documenting this because maybe this information will make sense later, but I ate hundreds of calories above what I should have been. And I feel like I'm kind of at maintenance right now because my weight is perfectly stable, but yet I didn't gain anything throughout this situation of eating. So whatever, maybe that mystery will be solved in future months. But to go back to the cardio thing, so I said I wanted to talk about some feelings that sort of arose this week. I'm only 2 weeks into this reverse diet, but I am starting to work through some thoughts and feelings. I thought maybe I would feel like it would be difficult to want to meet my calorie levels for the day as opposed to missing the mark by a couple hundred because I want to maintain my physique or something like that. So I thought maybe I would struggle with days of not wanting to eat what I'm supposed to. And I'm sure that day will come, especially when I do inevitably start putting weight on. I'm probably going to have moments of freak out where it's like, what am I doing? I should just why am I doing this to my body? But I have not gotten there yet. In fact, on even the days that I blew through my diet, all I could think about was the next day being motivated to lift because I understand enough now, like prior to me going through the journey I went through last year, if I had had a night where I binged and blew my diet, it could just completely derail me and I probably would have just quit the whole journey in general because I would have thought to myself, I've got such a hole to dig myself out of, what's even the point? But now knowing what I know, it's actually quite motivating to go to the gym after a day where you ate more than you should have because you know your body has the energy and like the glycogen reserves and you just know you're going to go into the gym being so energized and pumped and going to have a lot of energy to put to good use. And this week, you guys, I PR'd on the chest press over here on my machine, this kind. I PR'd on that. And I also had another PR, what was it? I think on my lat pull down, I've officially been able to finally increase by another 10 kilo on my lat pull down. And I was able to increase the volume of another exercise. Anyway, I had such an epic workout week this week. And all I could think of was, I'm gonna have more strength, more power, more energy. I'm gonna be able to lift more or do more, and I'll be able to put some of those calories to good use to build more muscle. And that's the beauty about having a long-term goal beyond just fat loss. Because last year, my goal was just fat loss. I wanted to lose the fat. I had so much fat on my body. But now I'm like looking 3 years down the road. And I know already, according to my calendar, that come this winter, I plan on going into an actual lean bulk. So this reverse diet is sort of like a mini prelude to what that is going to be because I am kind of in a surplus, and especially on days when I'm eating so much, I'm in a surplus. So now's the time for me to not cut corners because I did have that voice in my head that said 2 things to me. The voice in my head said, number one, look it, we could mitigate a lot of the damage we did by just coming to the elliptical and doing some cardio. Like, let's just come out and do an hour of lifts. What's the harm, you know? Drop the surplus down just a tiny bit. And then another thought that came to my head the next day was, well, I blew my diet yesterday, but if I drop my calories for the rest of the week from 1,750 down to like 1,550, I'll easily be able to make up for the surplus I put my body into yesterday unintentionally, and everything will pan out. But I decided to not do those things. I'm not about to get crazy. Done deal. Listen to my body first, okay? I have long-term goals, and 1 or 2 days of eating too much is not that big of a deal. So I decided instead to just say, I'm going to put those calories to good use. We will try to gain some muscle and just keep going, right? I did stick with my workout schedule, which might have been a little ambitious given that I was sick, but I had the energy, I had the fuel in my body, so I did lift every day last week. I did do some cardio, and by cardio, I mean I walk my dogs, like you guys know, for anywhere from 4 to 5K, but it's been so cold, the weather has been so bad that my walks have been very short, like in the 2 to 3 kilometer range, and I just have not been doing any real cardio at all, actually. What I have been doing a lot of is yoga. I have gotten into doing yoga like twice a day. So I really love it. I no longer follow classes on YouTube. I used to love really quick vinyasa flow classes because you were always moving, it didn't get boring, and you didn't feel the mental struggle of having to hold a pose for longer than you wanted to. But now that I do my own routines that I make up, I have my own playlist. I do it always by candlelight. So I've been doing it in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Everyone's asleep, or like my husband is off doing his own thing, so I'm alone. It's dark. I just have my LED candles and my music going. I've gotten into doing my own yin yoga practice, which is where you hold the poses for longer, and I just freaking love it. And it's very challenging. You're basically doing isometric body holds. You're really challenging those muscles, and it feels great. So 1 more week in the books, thank you God. So now we have 15 weeks more ahead of us of reverse dieting, and I'm gonna go up to only 1,800 calories next week. I know I said I wanted to go to 1,850, but I think mentally that is too big of a leap for me. But I will say, if I have hungry days, I'm gonna eat, but I'm trying to commit to, on those days where I eat more, measuring it, making a meal of it, and logging it so that I have that data and feedback that I can go off of and say, okay, well, I didn't gain anything, but I did eat this amount of calories, and that's very important information. So this video has gotten much longer than I want it to be, so I am out of here, but stay tuned because next week I will be back with an update. So talk to you guys soon. Bye.